Hello everyone. In today's lesson, I'd like to talk about text animation. Um, there's a there's a very good lesson on to how to animate text, uh, but it's uh, it was done with the older version of Houdini and the um those for loops are changed in that since then. So I was thinking like what would it be like if you could replicate this tutorial and use the latest version of Houdini. So here you see the result that I have achieved, and the main idea behind this text animation was like you could use like a connectivity SOP to separate your text, but the disadvantage of that was that it will use, for example, if you have the kind of symbols, it will use it. It will see it as a separate um, class type. Okay, so um, um, the the reason to use another method is to actually to be able to use those symbols as the one object. Okay, so let's actually see how it was done. So here I have a small setup. This one. Okay, so we are starting with the text. So I type in random letters and symbols. Okay, then what I do, I am assigning a letters integer attribute to detail, and it uses the text string length expression with the text. This way, it defines how many letters do we have. If I just, as you see, we have 8 letters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next, if we would use, for example, a connectivity SOP, then we would have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. So this way we are defining how many letters do we have. So it's 8. Then we're using a for loop. So here we using iterations, and we use our detail, and we use the attribute wrangle, this letters attribute. So this many times we want repetition to happen. Okay, so here we have a text where you'd like to copy a reference, all those uh, text properties which you'd like to use. I didn't do, but you might want to. Um, so next I'm using a substrate expression, and um, this way I'm actually um, going through the text and creating one by one each text. So in the end, I'm having all the letters uh, in separate. Uh, I'm having all those letters separately created by this cycle. Okay, so why am I doing this? So the first one is this symbol, and then I'm creating a letter attribute, and I'm give it a number, a certain number. Okay, here I'm using this metadata, and I'm using this information and I'm assigning to the symbol this attribute. Then I'm using again the detail attribute just to shift aside, so I could all the text placed with a slight shift. Okay, and here I'm having all the text placed. Then I'm using the sort attribute, in this case by X on both of them, and this way I'm copying the letter attribute, okay, onto the original text, because we have different placement. That's why if we want to use the original text which we want to use, so we're copying our letter attribute onto these letters, then just testing. I'm using a random from attribute with the letters with the letter attribute. um, this way I'm having a different type of colors. Okay, then I'm creating an animation onto my onto my text. So I'm using this letter attribute. This way I'm uh, I'm having a cycle on each of the letters. Okay, and here I'm creating point onto each letter and placing it in the center of the letter. Okay, then I'm adding some vectors, up vector in this case and normal, and here the animation part. Okay, so here I'm having um, a rotation animated from negative 180 to 0. Okay, and here I'm having my scale animated from 0 to 1. Okay, then I'm having a time shift with the metadata that I'm using for an offset. Okay, so it's not, you can see it just now. So if we have a look, so here's our animated text. Okay, so here we're also using the ChopNet just to add a little dynamics onto the text. So you see there's some interesting animations happening. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm using these points, and again I'm having my letter attribute copied onto the text. Okay, and here I'm using this attribute again just to run through, and I'm using each letter, whereas here I'm deleting all the points, but keep the one that I need in this case. Okay, and then here I'm having a letter. I'm adding some extrusion, some bevel, and I'm copying it onto this point. Okay, this way the blast uses like the sorting attribute by X. Okay, and the letter attribute, which gives me like a proper copying onto the letters onto the points. Okay, and so here's the final result, as you see. And talking about ChopNet, so um, here we have an output to ChopNet. So here I have geometry, animated method, and I'm using these attributes, okay, transformation, normals, and scale. I tried to use the p-scale, but it didn't respond, so I'm using scale in this case. Then I've added a spring effect to all the animation here. You just may play with the values. I just it's very easy just to understand how it works. Okay, so the animated geometry with all those attributes, some spring effect onto the animation channels and the output. And here we're importing it back, okay, animated with all those channels and the attributes. And this way we are having that kind of spring effect. Okay, and plus so we have this system set up, and it's procedural, so we can only change the text, and it will take effect, and we can slightly change our animation, and it will all affect procedurally properly, which is, I think, very great. So as the example, I've created another setup by using this basic one. Okay, so here we have, there is a camera also. So here we have some Happy New Year text, and if you notice, I'm using here random type animation. Okay, so what I did here, I only changed the text, and I had to refresh all those for loops in here, and here what I did, I'm copying sphere onto my letters. Okay, so I'm actually arraying onto my sphere, yes, and then I merge them together, and then I simply copy it onto the point. Okay, I'm also grouping my spheres, so I could use later on just to add some random colors. Okay, and plus to make it, for example, here I've added a shift node, and here I'm using expression random $C plus some random values. This way I'm having this random animation. Okay, if I turn this off, it will go like. Okay, so by adding this shift node and using this expression, you can achieve random values on random animated channels. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty much it that I want to talk about today. And as you see, it's very easy, and the system is ready to be used, like in different scenarios. So yeah, I hope it was useful, and thank you very much, and see you in the next lesson. Happy New Year, everybody. Goodbye.